Hello Professor, this is Mohanapriya Jagadishwaran Ilango, and in this video I'm going to demonstrate my work for the assignment 2 for the social data mining subject. So let's get into the assignment. So my assignment is to create a web application by acquiring a real-time feed of a social media platform. For example, like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, we have to uh, acquire the real-time feed on the social media platform, and we have to use that data to and upload the data to any of the database, and from the database we have to create a web application showing the uh, data we collected. So for this assignment, the tools I have used is the first one is Jupyter Notebook for the Python, and MongoDB as my database, and Flask is to create a web application in the Visual Studio platform. So before doing all this, two things we have to do. As we are taking two platforms, which I have taken Twitter and Reddit. For that platform, we have to get the developer account. For the developer account, we have to uh, apply for it, and once the approve has been initiated, we will receive a consumer key, consumer secret key, and all to access the Twitter developer account. So uh, here is my Twitter account, and here is my Reddit account, which I have got the developer account. So before the next step is to let me tell you the data model which I have retrieved from those two accounts. For the Twitter account, I have used date as my I have used 5 data models, which is date, ID, username, text, and profile. Date is the day when the tweet has been created. ID tells the ID of the tweeter, and the username tells the name of the tweeter respective to the ID, and the text means the description of the tweet, that is the tweet, and the profile gives us the profile picture image. And for the Reddit account, I have used title, score, ID, URL, created, and body, which means title gives the post of the title, and the score gives the likes of the post, and the ID gives the user of the post, and URL gives the URL where the post has been posted, and created means the date on which day the date post has been created, and the body gives the description of the post. So now let's move on to our assignment, which is to collect data collection of data from the social media accounts. Here the first thing is we have to import the necessary libraries. For Twitter account, we have to import the tweepy and I'm importing the JSON and CSV for the uploading of file into MongoDB. The first step is to collect the tweets from the Twitter. So first thing, so these are the credentials we got from the from as a developer from Twitter account, and here we are creating the authentication, and we are setting our access token and secret key. And now what we are doing is creating an API object while passing the auth information, which is these are the auth informations, which is auth handler and access token. Now what we are going to do is we are initializing list as CINTUP, which denotes C means created at, I denotes ID, N denotes username, and T denotes description, which is the tweet, and U is user URL, and P is the profile picture background. So these are the data model we are trying to implement. So we are after getting the data, we are going to upload the data into the data form as df. So now I'm running the code here. So here is our data, which means this is username, tweet, and URL style. So this is in a string text format. So when you go down here, we can see the data frame format in the data frame format, which contains date, ID, username, text, URL, and profile picture. So as we are here giving count because we need the 100 tweets, so we are giving the count as 100. So now what we are going to do is we are going to convert the df into JSON format to upload the data into the um, MongoDB. So here you can see that it's executed. The way why we are having date format ISO is if we didn't give it in the ISO format, the date will be represented in a number format. So it will not. It will looks like a ID. So we are giving the ISO format for date. Now what we are going to do is we are going to run the MongoDB. Sorry, we are given 0. Okay. So the data has been imported. So let me tell you how to check. We are going to MongoDB cluster, and we are here is our database called SDM, and we are having two collections, Reddit and Twitter, one for Reddit and one for Twitter. And we can see here 100 documents have been uploaded. Let me go and check how it looks. So when you go on here, we can see it is in a JSON format. So we have date, ID, username, text URL profile in the Twitter collection. So for when go to Reddit collection, it's 0 because we didn't import the data into it yet. So now what we are going to do is we are going to import the pro. Pro is for Reddit account. It's a library. So we are giving the credentials for Reddit, and we are getting the data as the title, score, ID, URL, and we are appending the data into the list. And now we are running the code. So here we can see when I run the topics data, we can see the data here as in a data frame format. So what we are now going to do is I'm going to convert the Reddit DF format to Reddit JSON format. So I have created the JSON format. So our first step on data collection of Twitter is done. We imported the code, and when we run the code, we got the output as DM, which is data frame, and we converted the data frame into JSON file. And the JSON file is then imported into the MongoDB using PyMongo with our database URL. So we had the database as named the database as SDM and created the collection as Twitter, and the data has to be uploaded into the Twitter collection as in a JSON format with a unique object ID. So the next step is to collecting the data from the Reddit account. So for that, what we have to do is we have to import the library called pro, Praw. So when we import the pro, and we are importing pandas as PD, which is for the data frame, and date time as DT for the date and time format. So now the next is we have to give our credentials we got from a developer account. So my client ID, client secret, user agent, username and password. So username is the name which gives for you, and the password you use to log into our account. So now what we are going to do is we are getting a tweets from the we are getting 100 entries in that account. So from the in our Reddit account, we are exporting the title, score, ID, URL, commons num, tree, created body. As this is our data model, so we are expositing all these data, and we are appending all these details into that list, because into the empty list. So when the data has been when a new post has been created, that post will be uploaded into the list. So that is why we are appending it. When then we are uploading all the appended data into topics underscore data, which is a data frame. So when the data frame so we are giving the timestamp. For this timestamp is the date and time format. So when we are running this, we are running that. So after running that, I'm going to display my feed posts. So here we got the data model, title, score, ID, URL, comms number, created body, and timestamp. So after getting all this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert the data frame into JSON format as we did before, and here also we are giving date format as ISO, or else it will be displayed as a number. So I'm running this command also. So after running this command, what we have to do is we have to import our data to the database. So we are using the MongoDB. The first step of data collection Reddit is completed using our code. The next step is to upload the data Reddit data to MongoDB. So what we are having the collection as Reddit, we can see it here. The STM denotes our database name and the Reddit denotes the collection name. So after creating our collection, we are opening the JSON file here, and the data in the JSON file will be uploaded to our collection. So I'm running the command here. So when we come to our database, so there is nothing here, so I'm refreshing it. Okay, now we can see our feed posted data in the Reddit as a unique ID, which has title, score, ID, URL, comms number, created, body, and timestamp. So these are the data uploaded into our MongoDB. And the next step is to import, create a web application using those data. So what I'm going to do is for that I have given the credential details here, and I'm creating a function called Reddit, and in that I'm giving the post URL and subreddit, which will contain the ID, author name, text, and URL, and another function called tweet, which is the Reddit is for Reddit social media, and the tweet is for Twitter social media. And here I'm giving the ID, name, image, URL, and text. And the Twitter is so we are accessing the Twitter collection, and here we are accessing the Reddit collection here. So when we run this program, we'll get our output, which is the web application.